Hey guys, Arlene here. If you have never seen me live before, I just want to fill you in on a little bit about myself. My name's Arlene. I was a gymnast for 13 years. I love health and fitness, and I love sharing motivational tips for you or things that I learned from some of my favorite mentors. So, I am wanting to share with you today something that I heard from Brooke Castillo. She runs a really successful podcast. She's a life coach, and she had a podcast today that I listened to that was about something she uses with her clients called the minimum baseline. So, the minimum baseline, she explains, is something that she makes her clients do when they are trying to do something new. So I'm sure a lot of you who might follow me are trying to get into a health and fitness routine. You're just trying to be healthier. You're trying to work out more, or maybe you're already into working out. And so you're just continuing to build healthier habits for yourself. So she makes this for her clients because she finds it's easier for them to reach their goals because you're focusing instead of, maybe you want to lose a certain amount of pounds or you want to be a certain number on a scale, instead of having this extrinsic outside reward or a pat on the back. Doing this minimum baseline for yourself really helps you just know on the inside, mentally, intrinsically, that you are doing a good job, and you don't need anyone to tell you that, because with this minimum baseline, you are meeting it. So she has them do this, and she has them focus on keeping their words to themselves instead of, the extrinsic reward, which I talked about. And she has this because it can be discouraging. And, I've worked a whole year now with challengers in my health and fitness groups, and it can be very discouraging after you work out for a month really hard, or 2 months, and you're like, why has the scale not budged? Or it's only budged a pound, it's only budged 2 pounds. It can be very discouraging, and luckily I'm at a weight where I'm happy at, whether I go up 4 pounds, down 4 pounds, because of I'm building muscle. I'm more focused on my nutrition for a month, and then I'm not as focused for a month. So to me, it's not as big of a deal, but I can see in the challengers that I'm with, sometimes it can be very discouraging, and they sometimes leave my groups. So I think this is a really good idea for you if you've been struggling, yo-yo dieting, if you've been struggling with trying to really just commit to a workout program, or just commit to going to the gym, or just commit to being, a runner, or commit to going for walks, 3 times a week. I think this is a really good idea that you need to listen to. So what is your minimum baseline? And what this means is, she talked about how a silly example would be, what's your minimum baseline for how many days you'll go without taking a shower? So if you think about that, most people, have, I make sure I take a shower within, this window, or else it's like I feel so gross. So for me, that'd be, about a day and a half, maybe. But usually it's a day. Some people, it's shower twice a day. So that's your minimum baseline for yourself in a different context. But we should really set minimum baselines for ourselves in other areas, including when we're trying to, do new things. So she talked about how, let's see, I wrote down some notes. 1 to 2 days, or I thought of another example for me. I am so much into working out now, it's a habit. But life gets in the way sometimes. Things get scheduled last minute, where I go see someone or something, and I don't get a workout in. But my minimum baseline for myself is usually 1 to 2 days. Typically this past year it's been about 1 day, where if I don't work out for 1 day, I make sure I work out the next day. So I'm only doing 1 day, no more than that, where I don't work out. So that's my minimum baseline for working out. But what do you do when you want to start working out more? So she mentioned how her idea was, okay, if you want to work out, you should pick 3 times a week, 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of working out. And I know this is mentioned in The Miracle Morning, which is a book you might have heard of if you haven't. In The Miracle Morning, he talks about working out. You can work out for a minute if 5 minutes is too much. So just committing to 1 to 5 minutes, 3 times a week. And I know that sounds silly, and she talked about how it sounds silly, and she talked about how, yes, you probably won't see progress in that, but you will see progress because you're keeping your word this time. So typically people want to commit to working out, 3 times a week for an hour, or 3 times a week for 30 minutes, and it never happens. Or you do it for a week and then you don't, or you get to the gym maybe twice this week for an hour both, and then you don't do the third day. So when you do this short amount of time, it's a lot easier to commit to, right? Even though it might sound silly, because at the end you're not going to see the same results. But the greatest thing here in my mind with this idea is that, again, you're not focused on the extrinsic reward. Now you're focused on just keeping your word, and you're focused on that, building that confidence within yourself that you can keep your word. And I love also how she mentioned that when you do that, you go from feeling like you don't work out, you go from going like you're not a runner to you are a runner. You can work out. You can do hard things, even if it's just for 5 minutes or 1 minute a day, which also still might sound silly, but keeping an open mind, I think it's a great idea. So yeah, and let's see, I have another note here. And she also mentioned too, well, I want to see progress. I want to see the number on the scale go down. I want to gain more muscle. I want to be more toned. I'm not going to get that working out 3 times a week, 1 minute, or 3 times a week for 5 minutes. But she said, well, think about it. If you wanted to commit to working out 3 times a week for an hour and it didn't work, didn't work for you, then your minimum baseline is too high. And plus, if it didn't work, then you got to do something else. So why don't you try this? Tell me how it goes if you do try it. So she mentioned 3 times a week, 1 minute to 5 minutes, whatever it can be, and let me know how you do. If you like this video, make sure you hit the love button below. Send me a DM if you have any questions about this, or if you're interested in hearing more about it. Make sure you follow me on here on Instagram. I also have a growing YouTube page and a Facebook like page called Pencils and Planks as well. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.